Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here. Time for some more StarCraft 2 commentary. This is going to be a series this time between EG's PuMa and Fnatic's TT1. So yes, PuMa versus TT1. Game number 1 in this series between these two players, starting off here on Xel'Naga Caverns. We can see here in the bottom left position, TT1 as our blue Protoss player. Over here in the upper right is PuMa as the red Terran player. Going to be very excited for this matchup. TVP, one of my favorite Xel'Nagas, certainly a map that I've done a lot of commentary on. And if you're just sitting there for a moment and you're a fan of multiple games and you're saying, Force, where's all the D3 beta content? Hold your horses. You got to realize that press, media, and fan sites aren't allowed to post anything yet. The only people posting anything about Diablo 3 right now are just people invited through the friends and family. So friends and family of Blizzard's employees. And if you don't care at all about Diablo and you're just here for StarCraft, assumedly you are watching a StarCraft video, well then let's get right into things. We can see TT1, of course, starting off with that pylon, hunkered very, very close there to his Nexus. I will be interested to see if he does decide to go for some sort of a SimCity effect. This will cut back on any possible Hellion harass that they may deal with, but I know it looks like his gateway actually will be coming out in front, just keeping things nice and close to his Nexus so that he can get as much mining time as possible. Didn't want to stray too far, and also, of course, there is no need to wall off against a Terran opponent. It really spells nothing but certain disaster if you do, because you will be guaranteed to lose those buildings during any pressure from that player, especially if he scouts it out and then decides, hey, I'm just going to go with some one base pressure here and try to snipe off his gateway or his Cybernetics core or whatever is actually situated right up there at front. PuMa, let's take a look at what he's doing. Looks like it's going to be a fast expand build here from PuMa. We can see that barracks is just about complete. There's still no refinery right now, and this is their tip-off to the fact that there will be a quick expansion. Now the question is this going to be something that TT1 will be scouting? And it looks like the answer to that question is going to be a yes. So there we go. Probe Scout moving on in, scouting the lack of refinery, and that is the immediate tip-off to, hey, PuMa coming out with the fast expansion. Pretty much guaranteed at that point. The only real option would be maybe there's a proxy Rax or two somewhere and he's going for some sort of Marine SCV all-in, but things like that are not nearly as likely. You expect kind of the more common, less all-in-y thing, although scouting for those possibilities isn't a bad idea at all. That's something to keep in mind. So you can see right now we actually saw TT1 move around with his probe and try to get some scouting done. He looked down over here to see if there was a Rax placed over here, and then he's going to be checking all around as well. Certainly not a bad idea to be 100% certain, but now at this point, he's pretty confirmed. Hey, you know what? I don't see a proxy Rax anywhere. I've done my scouting. He's also scouting out. Oh no, that's never mind. That is PuMa's scout, but you know, he scouted around a fair amount. He didn't see any proxy, so that pretty much left him rest assured that there was a quick expansion coming out. As we can see, PuMa is in fact doing that, and then after dropping that expansion, coming out with an additional 2 Rax at L. There we go, sacrificial worker scout, and let's see how much he was actually able to see. He saw that second Rax building, but unfortunately he didn't manage to catch the command center there. And actually, we are going to see the idle supply depot get shot down there by PuMa's Marines. He is just not happy with that supply depot at all, and he decided, you know what, it's time to take it out. Now, given the fact that there's going to be a quick expansion build, this implies that PuMa will be relying solely on Marines early game, and the Soul Stalker against a light amount of Marines can actually do a bit of damage, so we should be seeing TT1 try to do a little bit of micro, actually just getting that one shot off and then pulling back. Yes, he has lost some shields, but obviously softening up a Marine's the better of the two situations, because with that Stalker, the shields do, of course, recharge. So we'll be sitting Rax heavy. He does have 2 refineries coming out, so would like to see him actually tech up pretty hard at this point. He's coming out that factory. I do expect a tech lab to get dropped down and start to see either that stim pack or combat shield research come out here for PuMa. Now, in response to that quick expansion that TT1 is expecting from PuMa, we are seeing TT1 come out with a quick expansion of his own, and we can see PuMa's SCV scout is scouting that out right now. He's actually been moving right up in the main, and let's see how much scouting information he does get, sneaking up, and he did spot those 2 additional gateways. Not a whole lot of information, but a little bit, and certainly something that was worth checking out. It's worth sacrificing that scouting worker if you can, you know, be positive that, hey, you know, there's no Stargate coming, there isn't like a robotics out, and he's not coming out the robotics bay for crazy fast Colossus or anything like that. Always a good idea to send in a sacrificial scout or 2 just to get that last bit of information that you don't have. And then as you progress closer to the mid-game, obviously as a Protoss player, no need to sacrifice Scout anymore when you have Observers. And then as a Terran player, you're sitting with a few orbital commands, and it's easy to drop a scan or two to get most of your scouting done. And then you'll rely on things like dropping and stuff like that. So we can see TT1 working to saturate that expansion right now. We do still have PuMa with that command center in the main. He's getting some nice full saturation over here of that main mineral line, and then he will be lifting off this orbital command, transferring it right on over, and then moving about half those workers on the mineral line right on over to that natural expansion. And unfortunately for the Marine engaging the Stalker, that is certainly not a wise decision. One-on-one, the Stalker will win every time. We have a small push coming out from PuMa. I think he might just be trying to take map control. I'm not expecting any sort of big aggression from him. He may be moving out to an eventual stim timing push, but that's nothing that'll be taking place right as of this moment. So we'll be pushing back at least momentarily. And actually, we do have PuMa working down these rocks right now, and at the same time, an attempted proxy pylon. Obviously, TT1's not going to let this come up, given the fact he's got to cancel that. Maybe he hasn't seen it yet, but yeah, he will be forced to cancel that, obviously. Please cancel it. There we go. So TT1 canceling that proxy pylon, and at this point, it looks like that aggression won't likely be coming. The fact that that was pretty much scouted out by PuMa. Now PuMa knows to expect something, given the fact that he did see TT1 drop that proxy pylon. We have a factory scout moving across the map right now for PuMa. Now, what do we have for mid-game transitions? Obviously, as mentioned before, Stimpack coming out. We do have that starport with that reactor, so the double medevacs right now, double Vikings later if some Colossus come into play. TT1 will be going with the charge upgrades here. He's got the level 1 armor upgrade coming out first, and he's dropping another 2 gateways over here as well, so he will be sitting very, very gateway heavy this game. Also breaking down these rocks, going to allow him to expand into that third. Hasn't taken out the rocks at the high yield, and again, we do have PuMa destroying those rocks over there. Couple Marines fanning out across the map right now. Looks like these guys will be scouting out for a possible proxy pylons, but the other big thing that he's obviously looking for right now is he's looking for some expansions. He's scouting out for expansions right now. The likely expansion will be over here, and he's just kind of checking around the map, wants to make sure nothing funny is going on. So back over here for TT1, charge upgrade finished, level 1 armor upgrade finished. More gateways coming in as we saw prior. He's got a cannon sitting right there, just kind of a little bit of defense. Might be seeing a cannon over here as well. And there's that Templar archive, so it looks like we'll be seeing some High Templar come into play here for TT1, so we'll be going Charge Zealot High Templar, probably even throwing some Archons into the mix as well. And there we go, Marines taking out the probe, and I believe he stopped that scout from checking those medevacs, so these medevacs will be a little bit of a surprise. That pylon at the edge of the base will allow TT1 to see this coming. There's a scan as well, giving us some vision of the units streaming on up. He's not going to be able to do much damage. I think he'll just be taking us out. And actually, given that it's a small force right now and he scouted it with that scan, he is deciding to engage here, and here we go, doing a little bit of damage, but microing back, forced to lift off and pull back home with those medevacs. Didn't really do a ton of damage there. Getting that pylon was certainly something, but I didn't really kill off too many units. We take a look at the total resources lost so far this game. Not a lot, but TT1 is behind right now. There's a bunch more resources lost. Where is it? He lost 425. I'm really not sure where that took place. And here we go. Stim Marines going down. Couple Marauders in the mix as well, doing a little bit of damage, but warping in some more Zealots will be enough to force that lift off again. I'm guessing that heavy loss in units was from the medevac that eventually got destroyed there. So pretty cool stuff. Not really. Not really for PuMa, at least. But anyways, we got another expansion coming out right now for PuMa, moving his way into his third expo, and it looks like we'll be seeing TT1 move on into his third as well. Now we take a look again at the total resources lost so far this game. TT1 still behind, but PuMa getting closer and closer, losing more and more resources that dropped in and actually proved to be too beneficial for him. He's going to be forcing the cancel of that expo, though. Very nice, killing off the pylon, and then might as well head back home at this point. No reason to try to continue that engagement there. You know, you take that small victory. If you force the cancel or take out an expo, you might as well just pull out at that point. That puts you so far ahead that it's really pretty comfortable for you to actually back off and work up on your forces, continue to macro up, and then push out again and try to continue to take out those expos. We've got some idle Marines sitting at these expansions, actually denying or rather delaying the secondary drop of those expos. So we can see that third is getting further and further delayed just by that one Marine, and then obviously again we did see that force cancel as well that was caused by PuMa pushing. Another attempt at proxy pylon that does get taken out by PuMa's small bioforce over here. We have PuMa moving into that high yield expansion right now. A couple Marines situated over here. I'm assuming they will be used later down the road. Also, Marine right here will be spotting any forces coming up from this position. We have a lot moving across the map right now. Lots and lots of Zealots, as well as a few Archons there in the mix. A couple Sentries as well for some Guardian Shield and a possible Force Field or two. We got the Marines finally engaged right now, forcing TT1 to pull off the line. This is looking very, very good for PuMa right now. He's doing a lot of economic damage to TT1, and I can't really say that TT1 has returned the favor to PuMa at all. So, you know, we are seeing PuMa in a solid position, constantly delaying the economy and gathering and the expansions and everything for TT1. So TT1 hopefully will return fire at some point and do some sort of harass that's going to disrupt PuMa's economy. I think especially now that PuMa has expanded into the middle, this is kind of the easiest chance. Although we do also have this planetary fortress in play, that's certainly something to think about. Will be difficult for that Zealot heavy force if they can get a full surround on that and maybe drop some force fields to prevent any repairs that would be going down. He could actually kill this off pretty quickly with those charged Zealots and that Archon. So we do have another push coming out. No, never mind. He's just standing and moving around the middle there. PuMa pretty ghost heavy at this point, mixing in with that bio as well as those medevacs. And again, I do expect that economic advantage right now to go to PuMa. And there you go, as expected. There it is. We do have another small group of bio units moving across the map. They will be grabbing that free probe kill and then just continuing along their merry way. It looks like they will get a pylon back here as well. And actually, no, we'll be harassing the assimilator, trying to take this out. And we are having a couple of warped in charged zealots, so we'll be actually forcing back this bio army. Really loving the placement here, the sensor tower as well for PuMa, especially on a map this small. I mean, look at how much vision that gives you. You can see so much. That is literally a fourth of the map. Sure, it's dead center, but it's literally a fourth of the map that he can see what's going on with that sensor tower. Pretty awesome stuff, I would have to say. And PuMa, again, been doing a really good job of harassing the economy of TT1. Now, what does TT1 need to do to come back in this game? Well, something like this will certainly help. Getting some Colossus in play. Look at how charged Zealot heavy he is sitting right now. Now, once this engagement does come down, it really is going to depend on how well PuMa can land those EMPs. We can see PuMa actually moving across right now. We'll be taking full advantage of that tower, allowing him to see any possible pushes. But here we go, the stimmed up Marines and Marauders, and let's see how quickly they can take out this Nexus. I think they're going to take it out and then pull out in time. Oh my gosh, there we go. Finally taken out the Nexus and then pulling back, and exactly as I mentioned before, that is what you want to do, because this sets TT1 so far behind, especially since PuMa is sitting here at this high yield. He has not been disrupted. Perfect, you know, perfect economy flow. I'm not sure he's lost any workers. He has lost, PuMa has lost one SCV, and that is it. And you can just see how bad the economy of TT1 is doing because of this constant harass. So PuMa just doing a fantastic job mid to late game here of harassing TT1's economy and just making it so that it's impossible for him to compete. It's literally in the position right now where TT1 is so far behind economically that it's not very likely that he really has a chance of winning this game. We do have a Stim Marauder coming down. Obviously, he will not force a cancel, but maybe just get a kill or two, or even soften up some of these workers. Look at that. Even just getting the one kill, again, disrupting the economy. That's the whole name of the game here. So absolutely beautiful work from PuMa. Certainly I am thoroughly impressed here. He's moving into his fourth expansion as well. Now we do have TT1 attempting to drop his third and fourth. You can see right now that main pretty much mined out right now. The natural getting very low as well. Right now we do have PuMa fanning out with some of those units. He's doing some continuous scouting right now. We can see TT1 might be planning to actually move into an expo here, but that would be scouted out by PuMa. And here we go. Looks like there will be an engagement in the middle. Look at that EMP action. Almost all of the forces here of TT1 were shieldless. We saw TT1 pushing back as PuMa continued to move down and engage. Now we are going to be seeing actually PuMa's forces getting pushed back right now from the crazy amount of splash damage here from TT1, and TT1 with some pretty impressive counterattack there actually managed to push back PuMa even though he landed those amazing EMPs. Now we got to that battle just before it actually happened. Basically what took place is we saw those ghosts land those EMPs, and as TT1 was pulling back, we saw the stim up from PuMa to move forward and engage, and that was actually the perfect time for TT1 to turn around because he wants to fight PuMa in sort of a small narrow choke point. This allowed him to lay down a lot of splash damage with his Colossus as well as with those Archons. Now, even though TT1 was in a pretty good position in that particular engagement. We do have to keep in mind the strong economic advantage that PuMa has had for a majority of this game and what that means to him. It means that he can reinforce so very quickly and get himself back into the swing of things and ready for another engagement. I think that just was a very bad position for him to fight, even though he had landed those EMPs. And it looks like we've got a drop here, and again, more econ harassing going on, and TT1 struggling to deal with it. PuMa managing to even kill off those stalkers on the high ground. All those stalkers trying to get the medevac, but it doesn't. And oh my gosh, PuMa is still here. We've got the threatened engagement over here as well from PuMa at this expansion. And in the meanwhile, PuMa's drop over here continuing to harass. Is he going to kill off the pylon? Oh man, TT1 losing all of those units that he was warping in because PuMa managed to kill off that pylon. That, my friends, was intense. Finally, TT1 manages to deal with it, but unreal econ harass from PuMa this game. Terran players, please be taking notes because this has just been absolutely nuts. PuMa just been going to town on TT1's economy consistently for this entire game. We'll have to see how that next engagement goes. I want to take another look here at the units lost tab. Let's see where we're at. They're about even. Since that last large engagement, we did see PuMa lose quite a bit. And here we go. Might be seeing an attempted engagement right now once more. Even though PuMa has that strong economic advantage, he needs to be very careful about where he chooses to engage. Fighting in a choke point like this can be absolutely devastating to the vast amounts of splash damage that TT1 does have at his disposal. That is a very Colossus-heavy army. We're seeing some more Vikings thrown in the mix, some Ghosts getting ready to move forward. This is quite a tense situation as he attempts to push forward. We've got a few more bio units moving up, and again, trying to do some econ harass. While distracted by this, here comes that push across the map from PuMa. We'll be grabbing that tower, get a full scout of where TT1's army is, and here come the EMPs, landing the EMPs on the bulk of the army. Didn't get much of those Archons there, but he got almost every single Zealot and a few of the Stalkers there as well. A couple of Colossus here. They need to be careful from this Viking fire. Oh no, TT1, horrible positioning. Gets one Colossus sniped down, a second one dropped down to half health and losing all of his shields. PuMa taking full advantage of, unfortunately, that bad positioning of those Colossus. We've got some more Ghosts getting ready to move forward. There's the scan. Again, TT1 just scouting out the army. He needs to see the position where everything is so that he can decide when is the proper time to engage. We do have right now TT1 moving up into this expansion, leading the way with Vikings. We will be seeing PuMa move around from this corner. He's actually swinging those Vikings around back and forth because he does want to try to catch those Colossus out of position again. This right here is a much better position for PuMa to engage. So if anywhere, it's going to need to be here. There we go. Spreading out the units. Here come the EMPs on all of the Protoss army. He needs to take out those Colossus, though. The Colossus can still do a lot of damage. We've got a ton more charge zealots warping in, but look at this bio doing so much damage right now, and the massive EMPs helping quite a bit. The Vikings taking out all of the Colossus, and this is where the econ really starts to shine through. PuMa with that strong econ all game, having an incredibly solid force here for this engagement, and that was a perfect position for him to engage as well, mopping up all of the units right now of TT1. He's got one more Colossus to deal with. That's going to be a quick stim up and snipe down, and there you go, guys. TT1 forced to call the GG. PuMa started this game off with a 1 Rax into expand, and we saw TT1 go 1 gate into expand as well. At 10:30, we did see PuMa attempt some drop harass. Now, he did manage to kill off this pylon, but TT1, scouting this coming, was able to respond, get a few more warp in of units, and prevent him from doing too much more damage besides that. It was during that drop that we saw PuMa move out with 4 Marines and start some econ harass, which proved to be a constant theme throughout the rest of the game. While TT1 was at his natural, PuMa moved into his attempted third and was able to stim up and force a cancel. As TT1 prepared for a push, we saw PuMa move out again to the third of TT1, stim up and kill off the Nexus before TT1 could respond, and then we just saw PuMa retreat as TT1 moved in with his forces. PuMa continued the econ harass, dropping on TT1's third, stimming up and doing again a lot more damage. It was this constant aggression from PuMa and constantly forcing TT1 to pull off the line and stop his expansions that really gave him the big lead in this game and led to the win. Our final engagement came at 23 minutes. PuMa doing a good job of spreading out his forces, landing some clutch EMPs, and then using his Vikings to take out the Colossus. And again, with such a strong economic advantage, he was really in a solid position, and there's pretty much nothing that TT1 could do. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. That was game number 1 in this series here between TT1 and PuMa. We will be moving on to game number 2 in just one moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.